Good afternoon. It is a beautiful, sunny, but breezy Sunday afternoon here in Ellicott City, Maryland. We're going to take a walk down a main street here in this historic small town. We're starting out at the mill, or the mills, for which the town was named, Ellicott City. And you can see here, established in 1772, which for the United States, that's really early in our history. Not so early for the rest of the world, but definitely early for our history. I apologize for the breeze. I hope the audio is not too unbearable. But we're gonna head down to Main Street, just a few steps from here. But these are the historic ruins of the mill, and as this sign says, up this winding road lies the village of Owella. And I know Owella because of an awesome bakery called the Breadery. But as you can see on this map at the bottom of this plaque, it follows the Patapsco River from Daniels, Owella, Ellicott City, Ilchester, Catonsville, UMBC, Relay. This is all in Baltimore County, and now we're in Howard County, Maryland. The main street here is an historic road on its own that goes from Baltimore all the way to Frederick, Maryland, and it's called, surprisingly, Frederick Road. It's Route 144 in Maryland. So we're heading down to that main street, but just a nice little park here, right on the banks of this part of the Patapsco River. Sorry, did I say Patapsco? Yes, this is Patapsco River. I do get confused sometimes. We have a Patuxent River in Maryland and a Patapsco. This is the Patapsco River. Hi to everyone in chat. Please say hi. Let me know where you're from. We are on Frederick Road now, and we're gonna walk on historic Main Street here in Ellicott City, Maryland. And again, if we went north on this road, we'd be in Owella, founded in 1808, but we're headed to Ellicott City, founded in 1772. Now on my last Main Street walk, we talked about having a Main Street bingo card, which I'm definitely gonna post to my X account. So I'll try to post that today, if not tomorrow. But here are the things we look for in our small town main streets. Hey Jay, how are you? I'm on a Main Street safari here, and we're gonna make a bingo card too, because there are certain things that we always find on a main street. And so here in Ellicott City, we're gonna see if we can find a train station. In Collingswood, New Jersey, we found an old Woolworths. I don't think we'll find one here. Will we find a town square or a fountain? Will we find a library? Will we find one of those town clocks? We'll put all those on our bingo card. But we're here on Frederick Road. You can also see some historic homes there. By the way, this Old Mill Cafe, great bakery. But we're gonna head west, and we're gonna cross over the Patapsco River and talk a little bit about some historic flooding that happened here twice in recent history. And, you know, for those who don't know Maryland, the main city is Baltimore. But you may have heard of Ellicott City on the news for not so good reasons. This little small river here, this Patapsco River, which you could walk across, I would not recommend it at all, but you could. During torrential downpours, this river overflows its banks by 15 or more feet, completely drowning the main street here. It happened twice in recent years. I'd say within the last 10 years, it's happened twice. Devastated the local businesses. And I mean, partly, of course, the unique weather situation was to blame, but also more and more construction and development in the area means that the water just runs right into this river. and overflows the banks. Hello, Bohemia. Nice to meet you. This is also one of those bridges that people put locks on. I know it's like a charming thing in New York. Architecturally, it's a big no-no. You wouldn't imagine it, but these locks add a tremendous amount of weight to bridges, especially a small bridge like this. Also to the railings, damaging the historic structure. So, you know, Jason and Marie here, I know you love each other. I'm not a fan of the locks on a bridge. I'm not. It's not romantic. It's destructive. I'm in Ellicott City, Maryland, and we're walking down the main street. We're just crossing the Patapsco River. And you can see we're going to find a train station because there's the railroad bridge. It says Ellicott City right there. And we see another historic stone structure right here, just on the other side of this bridge. Great little walking town. Now this little river here, again, this little small Patapsco River that is so dangerous. It is a nice day, Jay. Oh my God. I actually have a jacket on though because this breeze is cold. So it's like 76, but the breeze is kind of cold. But this little river also cut this entire valley into this area. This is called the Patapsco Valley. And this part of Maryland away from this valley is relatively flat. We're not out in the mountains yet. But as you can see, there's a building up there on that hill. This is a steep, sharp valley here, which is also why the water just concentrates at this little river, causing massive flooding here on this charming little main street. I'm going to step aside here, take a better view of this historic structure here, which we're going to guess, I'll have to look it up, but late 1700s for this one, unless it's a reproduction. But this is always a nice picture here with the Ellicott City. Welcome to Ellicott City, established 1772 on this railroad bridge. Always tough to drive here. Slightly challenging to find a parking spot because the street is so narrow and the side streets are very narrow. So at the point of time when Maryland as a new colony country was forming, and then all the way into the 1800s, the railroad was huge, and the trade around Washington, D.C. and Baltimore came through Ellicott City here. Train station as well as the river providing the energy for the mills. So this milestone shows the distance in miles from Baltimore Courthouse to Ellicott City on the Baltimore and Frederick Turnpike, a toll road. Okay, so this is the mile marker. So this is the 10 miles to Baltimore marker. That's really cool. 1818, the markers made of Baltimore Nice from Ellicott City area. Yeah, these were mills for flour, but also quarries for stone around here. Ice cream shop, we're gonna check that out later for sure. This is also a great main street for shopping. Most of these shops are all one-off, locally owned. You're not going to find chain stores here. And we're going to make our first stop when we find a safe place to cross the street, because there's our railroad station. So we can check that off the small town bingo card because we found our railroad station. Bubble Guy has been here since I was a kid. I'm not kidding. There's always been bubbles and whirligigs on this corner. That'll disturb your peaceful day. got the walk. So after the devastating flooding, it was only a few years later when another similar flood occurred. It was really hard on this community, but the businesses have come back and come back quite strong. All right, so first stop on our bingo card, the B&O Railroad Station. Stands for Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Station. Connecting the two obvious cities, Baltimore City with the state of Ohio. And this is a station museum that you can visit. And it is awfully breezy. But we'll just take a peek at the old station. Hello, Bohemia. Well, thank you very much. It is such a nice day here. Just gonna walk up here and take a peek at the station and then come back down and check out the rest of Main Street. Let's see the old station. I'm sorry, I'm walking fast so as not to be hit by a car because there's no sidewalk here. Very narrow streets here and very old historic structures here. And you can just see here how steep these roads are, all converging on the main street and all converging in at the Patapsco River. Hi, Joy. What color are my toes painted? Like a coral color right now, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, I would say coral. And here we have an historic B&O caboose. Here at the historic station. We'll get a better view here. Take a view of the tracks. A little difficult to see. But I think we can color in that space on our small town bingo card, small town Main Street bingo card. Railroad station, check. Now all these homes here, former homes, churches, buildings, etc., these are all safe from the flooding. As you can see, this is high ground here. Take another look at that caboose. Love that word, caboose. Joy, we're in Ellicott City, Maryland. So we're taking a little small town Main Street walk today. And we're seeing how many cool things we can find on this small town Main Street. And I apologize for the breeze. It's a breezy day, so the audio may be a little bit annoying. But as long as we, hi Lou, very nice to meet you. Glad you could join. Yeah, it is. This is a cute little town, or cool looking little town. Now in between some of these structures, you might just get a peek straight ahead of me. Oh, somebody's ringing the bell. You may get a peek straight ahead of me. In between those two structures, you'll see a staircase, and those exorcist stairs have nothing on this staircase here. It is super tall and super steep, and we'll walk back over there. But you'll find these staircases in between the structures. In the event of flooding, those are high ground refuges. So, because it does happen extremely quickly, and so if you're walking down the street and the flooding starts happening, as was caught on camera during the massive floods years ago, you would run to one of these staircases to get to higher ground. Nice little park here. Cornhole, bocce ball, a all kinds of fun stuff. You can see the water runs to the river from multiple directions here, so it all converges at the river that we just crossed, making this just prime zone for flooding, which is amazing that, you know, that this town actually even exists, because historically, you know, you would think there would have been flooding, but because of the railroad, because of the mills, and because of the railroad, this town sprouted up. So you can see just directly in front of me, the gap between these two houses is the staircase. In the event of a massive fast flood, you run to these staircases with the yellow signs that point you toward higher ground. We'll take a peek there and then we'll work our way up Main Street. Get the little walking guy. This is definitely a street for walking and not for driving. But we'll just take a little peek up these stairs. Like I said, if you've seen the movie The Exorcist, those stairs, pretty big. These stairs, pretty big.
I know.
Bubbles and whirligigs are always fun. Oh, caution, we're in the bubble zone. It's good to know when you're in the bubble zone. It's better than being in the flood zone. Absolutely. But these shops, one-off, locally owned, great local businesses. Just have to talk really fast over music that's playing around some of them. And then this is kind of that classic Main Street shot for Ellicott City, with the historic Kaplan's department store sign, which at night is lit up and looks awesome. But on either side of this street, many, many historic structures. And you can see this one on the corner. Definitely a late 1700s, early 1800s structure. Oh, being in the shade is better. You can get a better shot across the street when I'm in the shade. Clothing stores, art stores, restaurants, a little ways up the road. I think this was the building that during that massive flood, the first one, there were people out on this balcony taking the video of just water rushing taller than these cars and sweeping cars down the street. Unfortunately, with people in them, it happened so fast. Some little cute ones with the awnings across the street here. That first one, the one on the right, 2 stories, tin roof. The next one on the left, 3 stories, wooden structures, late 1700s for sure. This is the Ellicott Distilling Bar and Restaurant. Lovely. And this building here, the Patapsco National Bank in 1905. In neo-colonial style with Doric columns. I love it when they give you the exact architectural information on those plaques. Chill guy, why build a town in a flood zone? You know, it's one of those questions, because the mill was here, because the railroad was here, and because it probably didn't flood as much in its early days as it did after development started happening. And so the water can't run off. The more concrete that we have, the water can't run off. It can't disperse. So it runs off and it runs down the hill and it runs into the river, and the river is also catching all the other water, right, from the other places where it's raining. But yeah, it's pretty much attributed to all the development in this area and all the concrete and all the asphalt. The historic Kaplan's department store. We'll have to look for a date on that one. I don't know. All these stone structures are characteristic of this area because there were quarries here. And so this is all local stone. Cute little shops. Hi, William. Looks like the town San Juan Brown live streams from Juan Brown. Oh, I don't know who Juan Brown is, but that's good to know. This is Ellicott City, Maryland. It's about 10 miles from Baltimore. In fact, it's exactly 10 miles from Baltimore because we saw the mile marker just a few minutes ago that marked the distance from the courthouse in Baltimore to here. Now, across the way, another historic structure, probably another bank. It's got that bank look to it. But next to it, definitely some former merchant buildings in that stone, which is local. Maryland has a number of stone quarries, or had a number also of historic stone quarries, some of which provided the stone for the Washington Monument. And we've talked about that on some of my other live streams. And we talked about the fact that the pause in the construction of the Washington Monument means that there's two different colors of stone because the stone came from two different quarries. The Order of the Oddfellows Lodge. Nice, another historic stone structure with some vinyl out front. Built in 1848. Really busy on a Sunday and obviously on a nice day. This is a place to be. And then the other, historic sign, so looking back on the Kaplan's department store, the other one that is really cool at night is the Taylor's Furniture sign. Another historic sign. And here, now this is awesome. I didn't know this was here. Biblio Pub. Sounds like my kind of place. Totally. A pub at a bookstore. All for it. Totally for it. Ellicott Mills Historic Weather Predicting Rock. If the rock is wet, rain. If the rock is white, snow. If the rock is moving, run, earthquake. Hilarious. Hilarious. Love that. But yeah, so we talked about quarries. So walking down Main Street, and we also talked about how the river cut right into this valley. We were walking by this Main Street, and this big rock is here because this town was cut straight into the rock by the rivers. And yeah, it's right here. This is the rock. It's a big rock. Cool stuff. Juan Brown streams from a small Northern California town. Looks very fun. Oh, cool. Hi, William. Well, it's really nice to meet you. I'm obviously on the East Coast, and I stream a lot around Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C., West Virginia, and a few weeks ago I was in Collingswood, New Jersey. So wherever I travel, I try to find historic, interesting architecture. And that also means finding main streets. And we like to play Main Street Bingo. So we found our train station. We have not found a town square there. I can already tell you, there is not a town square here around this main street. But I don't know if there's a clock. We're gonna look for one of those town clocks. Sweet Cascades Chocolatier. Another good look at Taylor's Furniture down to Kaplan's. And then here we have this wrought iron work on this building. When we cross over, we'll get a better view of this side of the street. But you can see now we're climbing uphill, following the high ground signs. Oh, they have a Crazy Mason milkshake bar. Okay, I do like to patronize local businesses. And I think Crazy Mason also has a place in Alexandria, Virginia, because we were there just 2 weeks ago, and I saw a crazy mason there. So they must be doing well. There's a dilapidated and crumbling Oddfellows Lodge in East Chicago, Indiana. It's a beautiful piece of architecture that's trashed. Oh, that is very sad. Hi, Lady Weiser. This is Ellicott City, Maryland. I really apologize for the audio, and it's really breezy. It's in the high 70s, but I'm wearing a jacket because the breeze is cold. It's definitely chilly. I'm glad you could join us, Lady Weiser and William and everyone. All right, now we're hiking up the hill, and then we'll cross over and we'll come back down. Up Howard County Welcome Center. Okay, we can check that one off of our bingo card, because on our small town Main Street bingo card, we also have Visitor Center or Visitor Information Center. And there we go. So this is our Howard County. We're in Howard County, Maryland, right next door to Baltimore County, Maryland. And I'm going to cross over because here you can't get a good view because we're back to the rocks again. But first, we're going to take a look at the former firehouse for Ellicott City, perched up here on higher ground, now the Firehouse Museum. I'm going to check that one off of our bingo card as well. Firehouse, check. Let's see if we can see a sign. I see a sign. So we can learn about this beautiful structure. Look at that. I mean, it was a horse and a wagon years ago with a hand crank water pump. This building was erected in 1889 as the town's first fire department. It served as a working station until 1923 and was used for other purposes after. It was restored in 1989. Well, kudos to the people who restored this really cool structure. Yeah, we'll get another view of the rock when I cross the street, but you can see here, you can see these homes, right? Perched up here on the rock because we're down in a valley that was cut by water. Such an interesting little place. See if we get a peek over here since I'm perched up here. That's a good picture. Looking to the east on Frederick Road, which is the main street in Ellicott City, Maryland. Oh, look at that. Now the sun's out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. I hope everyone else is having a really great day wherever you are. Let me know where you are. Let me know what the weather is there. Let me know what historical sites you have in your backyards. And I do apologize for the audio again. It's been breezy since those storms we had come through here. There was a tornado warning in Baltimore. I don't know if it was a confirmed tornado. For Baltimore City, that's extremely rare. That just doesn't happen. And up here at the top of the hill, I wonder if Tersagil's is still here. Wonderful French restaurant. And yeah, I'm walking right next to the rock, right next to the mountain. The sign back there at the mile marker said it was made of Ellicott City Gneiss, Gneiss. I wonder if that's what this is. Maryland also has granite quarries. If my granddad were still with us, and if he were with me today, he'd know exactly. He was a micro-mineralogist, not a mineralogist, a micro-mineralogist. And this was formerly the Star Funeral Home from 1887. And there's Tersagil's. Looks like it's still open. We'll see. We'll cross over. We're going to cross at this walk and make our way back down. and definitely end up at that ice cream shop. Just to see. Okay, whatever's in here, it smells good. Oh, is it a brewery? Brew pub. Looks like there's I think that's a still. Looks like it's a microbrewery. Okay, Phoenix Emporium, Upper Main. Yeah. Outdoor seating. Restaurant. And across the way, for your Mexican food, La Parada. La Palaba? La Parada. I can't say that. Whatever it is. Looks great. And now we'll work our way back down. Our roses are blooming. My roses in my yard are blooming right now. And last weekend we did a flower safari with my dad on a live stream, checking out the rose garden at the Smithsonian's, around the castle, around the Smithsonian Castle. Beautiful roses. Tersa is still here in the historic Sykes building, built in 1895. This has been here a while. This is a French restaurant. Well, thank you, Lady Wiser. I like this view down the valley with all the little shops. And there's that little mini mountain across the street. And we'll get a better view of that firehouse from here. William is in the California desert. Can't think of anything historical here. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there might be some Native American sites there, perhaps. I love the desert. I love everywhere. I like to have a variety. So in the state of Maryland, you've got the beach, the Atlantic beaches. You've got the mountains out in Western Maryland. In the middle, you've got abundant farmland, vibrant cities. Maryland has everything. We also get 4 seasons. You know, we definitely get a hot, humid summer, potentially snowy, blizzardy winter, beautiful fall and spring, but they're very short. We tend to go from summer to winter really quickly and from winter to summer very quickly. Like it's May 18th and people are saying today how hot it feels. It's not hot, it's still spring, but it is warming up quickly. All right, we'll pause here and take another little look at that fire station. It's so cute. And now you'll get a look at the other side of the street where we were walking west. Now we're walking east. And you won't find a Starbucks. And you won't find chain stores here. No Panera, no McDonald's. These are all local owned, one-off businesses. And there's a sale in the cabinetry store. So if you need design cabinetry, there's a sale. Crazy milkshake, Crazy Mason milkshake bar. Oh my God. That's a milkshake with it's a milkshake with an entire slice of cake on top of it. And there's another one. Holy moly. Okay, I love lemon. I mean, that's a milkshake with a slice of cake on top of it. Darth! Hey, Darth Daphne! What the heck? Guys, this is a milkshake This is a milkshake with a piece of cake on top of it. Okay, that's the lemon one. And this one is a pina colada milkshake. Oh my God, Dan! Dan, do you see this? This is crazy. Yeah, I would do the lemon one. So this is Crazy Mason here on Ellicott City. Dan, thank you for sending everyone here. You're crazy. That's really kind. It's a beautiful day. We're in Ellicott City, Maryland, and we're doing Main Street bingo. So we've already found the train station and we found the visitor information center. So we're looking for the town clock and a couple of other things on our bingo card, which we might not find. But this is a cute little Main Street. This is in Maryland. This is about 10 miles west of Baltimore, and it's called Ellicott City, Maryland. So, hey, Ass! I know, right? Oh my gosh, but this little town is like, this is art, one-off clothing shops and clothing designers, lots of good old historic architecture. So these buildings, most of these were built in the mid 1800s, some from the 1700s though. This town was founded in 1772. Down at the river here were a bunch of mills, and this town sprouted up. And this is the old-fashioned Taylor's Furniture store sign, which at night is lit up, and it looks really cool. One of those old 1940s style signs. No one's patient here. No one's patient. Great town for walking, terrible town for driving. There's really not a lot of parking here. Lots of great little shops. Lots of ice cream and candy. Is my dad with you? No. My dad is at a graduation party today. So my entire family is not here. I had a meeting in this area, and so I decided to do Ellicott City. So here's what I was talking about. Like the river, which is parallel to this street, and then the Patapsco River down at the end of the row here, carved hundreds and thousands of years ago, carved this valley, and there's the rock. Like this street is in between rock formations that are huge. It's one of the few places in this area. Ooh, they're loud. One of the few places in this area that's not flat. So these buildings were built in some cases right into the rock, but because of the configuration of the two rivers and all kinds of development over the years, this area has had historic floods. And those of you in England and Canada, this was like 5 years ago, you would have seen it on international news. This entire Main Street was above my head with water. The water would have been as high as the top of this sign. These buildings, the first floor and the basements would have been completely flooded. There were cars floating down this street, unfortunately with people in them. So really a devastating flood. But it's all because of the development and because of so much asphalt and concrete. The water doesn't have any place else to look. Delta, hello! If that looked like a complete dinner, not just a drink. Because here in Sweden, milkshake is, yeah, that did. I'm losing my voice, my allergies. May have to cut it short soon. But yeah, I've never in my life seen that before. Cake on top of a milkshake. What do you know? And this is obviously, it had to be a bank, right? It's got that characteristic bank feel to it. Yes, overhead cables are no longer normal here in Germany. I can't remember seeing. Yeah, someone mentioned that to me as well. I forget who mentioned to me, like, why do you still have overhead power lines? Because we do. Can't tell you why. Probably lack of funding to put them underground. But that's another reason why when it rains, or it's windy, I lose power because of these cables. Yeah. Rain, wind, take them down. Excuse me. Kaplan's Department Store, another historic site. This one hasn't come back yet. It will. You have Cake and Shake in Canada. I'm all for it. Not today. Have to wait until my cheat day. I mean, they just made my teeth hurt looking at it. They were deemed unsafe in Germany. We have a thing for making things safe. Yes, you do. Asmandi, yes, you do. And I am proud to claim some German DNA. I think it's why I'm so organized, or I try to be so organized. Here's another one. When we walked past it on the other side, we got a view inside, but here's the view outside. That's a great one. All these stone buildings, the stone is local, from the local quarries here. And these, you can pretty much conclude these are late 1700s for these buildings. And we're working our way back to that train station. It is such a nice day today. If the wind would just stop for a few minutes. Hopefully it's better now. I'm sorry for the audio. It was really bad before. Take another look up the street. And then across the street, you can get a good view of the train station from here. The Baltimore and Ohio Railroad was the first railroad in the United States. It began construction in 1828, July 1st, 1828. Happened to be the same day that the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal also started construction. This is not the canal. This is a tributary into the Patapsco River. But we've hiked on the canal. You've seen me hiking on the C&O Canal. And the railroad, of course, made the canal obsolete pretty much from start. And we're here back at the bottom of Main Street. So for our Main Street bingo card, we did not get a town clock. We did not get a town square. We got the fire station, the train station. Okay, tell me you're back, everyone. Lost internet there for a second. That was not the planned ending to the stream. So if somebody in chat can let me know that we're back, that would be awesome. If not, then I will end this stream. And thank everybody for joining. Hello, Sean. Sean from Canada, hello. I'm so glad you're here. We're on Main Street, which is Frederick Road in Ellicott City, Maryland. Hi, Daphne. Yeah, for just a second it said reconnecting. Who knew? Probably all these overhead wires. But this is the Main Street. So we've walked all the way to the west and all the way to the east, and now we're going to cross back over the river. Why, thank you, Sean. Yeah, when I did the one in Collingswood, New Jersey, I had no idea there was even a Collingswood, New Jersey. I literally stumbled upon it. But I do know Ellicott City, Maryland. Now, the other great thing about Frederick Road, which is this Main Street, is that it's home to several main streets. Not just the one here in Ellicott City. It's also home to the main street in Catonsville, Maryland. So if you continue going east, you'll be in Catonsville, Maryland. So we're back to the train station. Well, thank you, Sean. I'm glad you enjoy history. Everywhere you go. I'm not going to point at the historic sign because I can already see it has a QR code on it. And that definitely messes up my live streams. So we're not going to do that. One last look back up the main street, and now we're going to cross the river. And there's the ice cream shop that I think I'm going to hit on my way back to my car. Ellicott's Mills was the original name of the town. Hi, Michael, Michelle, Michelle. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you again. Thanks for joining. So we'll walk across the other side of the river here. This is the Patapsco River in Maryland. It's the river that cut this valley. We went down and we came back up, back down the valley. It's also a protected area for wildlife and also a great state park attached to this river called Patapsco Valley State Park. Oh, and we have a mallard duck hanging out over there. Just chilling. Now, as you can tell from the rock formations, in air quotes, in this river, there's a lot of debris here because the mills would just toss their debris in the river. So while there is some stone here, you'll notice there's a lot of concrete here. Just concrete leftovers tossed into this beautiful scenic river here. It has its own character, we'll put it that way. But quite a peaceful spot. And this is the river that floods. This is the river that caused the historic floods a few years ago that completely drowned that main street that we were walking on. The water would have been over my head several times over during those floods. Hey, Abe. Glad you could join. Abe, we just did Main Street, Ellicott City, Maryland. And here's a really good shot here. And that's the railroad bridge. With Ellicott City painted on it, which is quite beautiful. And a historic stone structure, probably late 1700s, right next to it. Yeah, Abe, you'll have to rewind and watch when I post this video because you missed the train station. And there was a caboose. There's a caboose over there. So at the very beginning of the live stream, I crossed over the river on that side and then made my way over to the train station, which is behind those trees. And there's a caboose over there. Here it is quiet. Down on that main street, the traffic, you know, because you're in a canyon, essentially. The traffic is so loud on that main street. But it's a great street for walking. Now, if I were to continue for about 3 more miles, which I'm not, on this street, in this direction, I would hit Catonsville, Maryland. Catonsville is known as Music City, Maryland, because it's the home of a whole bunch of, like, if you need serious musician supplies and instruments and all kinds of stuff for audio production, that's where you go down that main street. So we'll do that one another time for sure. But yeah, this is a nice peaceful place. I'm so glad everyone joined me today. Wow. And Dan, huge thank you for sending all your people over here. That was crazy. Thank you. I think this is a good spot to sign off and wish everyone a wonderful Sunday, a great week ahead. Thank you for enjoying this little small town Main Street walk with me. We'll do another one soon, everyone. Take care.